Hey, this is Josh with New Review, coming at you with a new review on the first half of season 5 of Vikings. So big thing was the fallout of the conquest of England, largely by kind of conquest by the Great Heathen Army. They do follow a little bit of history. Like once Ragnar Lothbrok was in the picture, they kind of needed to kill him off, like they do purportedly in history. It's not entirely certain even if he's actually a historical figure or not. And thus, the Great Heathen Army had to be a thing. However, in actual history, the Great Heathen Army basically conquered all of England and didn't stop and go back to the Scandinavian region, partially, until Ivar the Boneless was killed in Ireland. But it's a TV show. It's going to take some liberties. There was a lot of adventure with Bjorn. He finally got to the Mediterranean like he wanted. And it was a really interesting journey for him with him and Halfdan. Um, and it did kind of touch on other parts of history at the time that was really important. Granted, they had to gloss over it because that wasn't the focus of this season. But it was nice to get out of Northern Europe, and see a little bit of what was once part of the Roman Empire. Um, Now in England, it was really interesting to see a little bit more of the Saxon nobility and leadership come to the forefront, and one of the main characters that was the leader of the Saxons was a bishop. Now, not a lot of people really realize this, but bishops at the time actually did fight. It wasn't uncommon, and I really appreciate that Vikings is doing that. Granted, they are also on the possible fact that there were women warriors among the Vikings. There's a lot of conjecture and debate. Although, based off of the evidence that is present, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways, that is neither here nor there. And it was really interesting to see the back and forth between largely Ivar, because largely Ivar was the one who came up with the plans and executed them pretty much perfectly, and the Saxons. Uba and Fitzurk really did have shown themselves as being warriors of their father's caliber. Um, and I really did enjoy the early part with them basically playing games with the Saxons. Um, uh, and then the large fight between Ivar and Lagatha, which took up a lot of the rest of this first half of the season. Really interesting, because we've seen minor battles between Vikings, but we haven't seen like a full blown civil war type thing. Um, and that's what's going on. The last episode, which I really enjoyed because it wasn't very. It decided to go with a non-linear story pattern for a lot of it. Um, they were fighting against each other, and it was a lot of carnage on both sides. Though in the first battle, Lagatha won. In the second one, it appeared that uh, Harold won, and there were a lot of important characters killed, like Jarlborg's son, who was adopted by Bjorn. He was killed, and Bjorn's semi-wife, who historically was the mother of Harald Hardrada, who mother of Harald Hardrada, who was killed before the Saxons lost their throne and the Normans took over. Um, and I'm really enjoying how the older generation of characters are kind of falling off, and newer generations of characters are coming into their own. Additionally, Floki discovered Iceland, which was a something the Vikings did, and he's trying to create a peaceful island. However, they've been fighting for so long, I'm not surprised that it did not turn out the way that he wanted, leading to him offering himself as a sacrifice, which again, we're not entirely certain Vikings offered human sacrifice, but that is a possibility. And the Saxon storyline, Alfred the Great is believed to have been Aethelwulf's son, although Aethelwulf dying from a bee sting, that's kind of ironic because he's like this great warrior and you'd expect him to die on the battlefield, but no, he dies from a allergic reaction to a bee sting. And Alfred the Great, who basically freed England from the Vikings, him coming to power, that's important because that is ultimately how England became a united kingdom. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I can't wait for the second half of the season to start, especially with Rollo finally returning. Despite him being a crazy bastard, I really did enjoy him as a character. So yeah, this is Josh with the new review of Vikings, signing off.